So I had my Optic fly off of my Shadow 2 again. This is the second time in about roughly 14,000 rounds. The first time it happened was at 10,000 rounds. And then the second time, which was last week, happened after only 4,000 rounds. And it's not actually the Optic that's failing, it's the plate to the slide mount that's failing. And actually what's happening is the screws that mount the plate to the slide are shearing right off, both screws. They just break right below the plate, and obviously that's not good. I was running the CZ RMR OEM plate, the one that you can get from CZ. I made a post on Facebook on the CZ forum, or the CZ group, asking what people are running, what plate system people are running. The owner from Impact Machine was pretty generous. He was pretty gracious, and he offered to send me one of his plates. That's what I'm running right now. So I took some measurements when I received it. I took some measurements and compared the CZ OEM plate to this Impact Machine plate. This plate, the dimensions are a little bit different. Notably, the length of the actual plate, it's a little bit longer, like 2/10 of a millimeter, something like that, like 0.2 millimeters. And then also what I did is I compared the fit of each of the plates. The CZ plate actually has play. It moves this way. It's minor, but it does move this way, and it kind of shifts around this way. So I'm no engineer, but what I think is that's definitely not good for the screws. Screws are meant to hold things down. They don't really have a lot of strength for lateral pressures like this. And what I think what's happening is even that little minor movement when I'm shooting, and I shoot a lot, you know, the plate, it's actually moving and the screws are stopping it, and eventually the screws break. This new plate is much more snug. It doesn't move at all. So my hope is that if I'm right, and that's what's causing the plate to fail or the screws to fail, I'm hoping that this new plate will prevent that. So we'll see, only time will tell. But I figure maybe in the next 6 months, I should be shooting about 10,000 rounds in the next 6 months. If it's still holding strong, then I'll know. And the suckiest part about this is I can see when the Optic screws have moved, or the screws that mount the Optic to the plate, I can see if those have come loose. But obviously I have no line of sight to the screws that mount the Optic plate to the slide. So it's just a mystery until it absolutely fails. So I'm optimistic about this. So far it looks like there's an improvement in the plate, and even how it mates onto the slide, it's a little bit beefier. So I think again it's going to fit a lot more snug. So we'll see. Time will tell. I'm going to zero in because it's the first time. I just mounted it yesterday morning, so it's been 24 hours. And I am using Loctite, guys, on all the screws. I'm using, I think it's blue Loctite, the 263. So there's two versions. Actually, there's a few versions of the blue Loctite, but it's not the one that you can pick up at Home Depot. This one I had to go to Grainger and buy it. And I think it's 263, I want to say. And supposedly, according to Grainger, it has a little bit higher heat tolerance, but then also it's meant to withstand vibrations. So far, using the blue Loctite, I haven't seen any, like the screws that mount the Optic to the actual plate, I haven't seen them shift at all. They haven't loosened up at all. If you're going to use Loctite brand thread locker, I definitely recommend the 263. It's been working out so far for me. So again, I'm going to zero and I'm going to shoot some rounds downrange and have some fun today. All right.